kestrel. It's the smallest falcon found in North America. The smallest falcon in the world is called a falconet, and the Denver Zoo actually has one. It's worth checking out. It looks like a sparrow in its enclosure. It's very tiny. These guys are often mistaken for songbirds. You see them very often sitting on a telephone wire. They are falcons, so their favorite thing to hunt are other birds. So if you see a bird about this size sitting all by itself on the telephone wire, look a little closer. It could be a kestrel, because when you eat other birds, they tend not to want to sit with you on the wire. And I just love kestrels. They are so amazing. This is a male, and he's one of the few raptors that you can actually tell males from females based on their color. Because most raptors, they all look identical. The girls are just bigger and meaner. But in this case, the males have blue on their wings. They have a really rusty red chest with those little black spots. The females don't have the blue on the wings or the gray. They just have a plain red and black wing, and then their chest is white with the kind of rusty red spots on it. These guys are very common in Colorado. If you don't see them sitting on the telephone wire, and a good way to tell, most birds sit on the wire like this, their tail out behind them, because they're just laid back. They're just sitting there watching life pass them by. Kestrels are much more at attention when they sit on the wire. Their tail is pointing straight down at the ground. Sometimes they're flicking their tail rather impatiently because they're very anxious, excited. I call them the chihuahuas of the birds that we take care of because they're just very uppity and excited. And you can see this even with the wild ones flicking their tails sitting on the wires. Another way you can tell them apart is that they will hover above a field. Now, if you ever see a bird hovering above a field, yesterday I saw 2 of them in Thornton hovering, and it was a pair of kestrels, and they were just hovering in the wind. It was just magical to watch them. What they're doing is really interesting. These guys will eat small rodents, birds, mice, and the thing about, another bird, birds, mice, insects. The interesting thing about mice, if you've ever had a pet mouse, you know it stinks. You just can't keep that cage clean to the point where it's not going to smell. And the reason that it smells all the time is because mice and rodents, they will leave a trail of urine as they forage. And just like Hansel and Gretel with the breadcrumbs, they will follow that trail of urine using their incredible sense of smell so that if they see a predator, they can follow that scent right back to their home really quick. Well, kestrels have exceptional ultraviolet vision. They can see into the ultraviolet light spectrum, which is completely invisible to a human. And they exploit that feature about rodents because ultraviolet light reflects off of body fluid. So as they hover, if you can get the binoculars out, you'll see that they're going like this with their head, and they're literally tracing the trail of urine either to the home or the mouse in the field. It's pretty incredible. I wonder what it looks like. Does it look like a sparkle? Is it kind of glowing like glow in the dark? I wonder what that light looks like to them. It's pretty cool. And I almost forgot my favorite thing about kestrels. And when we do a lecture, especially with 5th graders, they just love this fact. All falcons have some special features like stripes under their eyes. Football players copy this because it cuts the glare off of their cheeks. So these guys can hunt birds. Football players can catch that football, the receivers at least. They also have a notch in their beak. All raptors have a hooked beak, but falcons have an extra notch behind the hook. It's called a tomial tooth. It's not really a tooth. It's just an extra kind of point. Well, kestrels are famous for lining that up just right when they attack a bird in midair. They'll grab the back of the bird's head, and if they line that notch up just right, they can pop the head off a bird while it's flying through the air. This adorable little creature is a ferocious flying killing machine. I love it. Because he just looks so cute and fluffy, doesn't he? But he's ferocious. If we wiggle our thumb, he bends down and bites our thumb, and then he stares at you in the face like, I got more where that came from. And it's like, oh, you. All right, let's bring in our other bird.